Hey, good morning to you. What's happening? Hey, this is Eyes on Smash Bros Radio, the only digital award-winning station located in Birmingham, Alabama. Sure am. Happy Monday to you. It's raining down here in Birmingham. We needed it to get all the pollen and stuff out of the air. You can find, if you haven't done so, please like, follow, share, and subscribe to Smash Bros. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram as well as Facebook and YouTube. And as for myself, oh shoot, I'm everywhere. You can find me same places: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. So please, if you have not done so, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. We would deeply appreciate it. Also, we have an app. Download our app so then that way you can take us everywhere you go. We appreciate you. Got two events coming up. We got May 18th and 19th, which is Saturday and Sunday. You have the Barber Shop Basketball Tournament 5-on-5 youth and adult competition. There's going to be DJs, there's going to be entertainment, food trucks, pizza party, and a carnival. Kids are $10, adults are $15 for both days. There'll be trophies as well as rings. You can contact participating shops for tickets. For more information, you can contact 205-200-9423. Once again, that's 205-200-9423. The participating shops are, get my glasses on. Main event, 1011, the shop on 78, and Linked Up. So please contact them, 205-200-9423. Come out and have some fun. Then on November 9th, 2024, at the Bessemer Civic Center, 1130 9th Avenue Southwest, Bessemer, Smash Bros. Radio and OZZz are proud sponsors of the Southern Bully Showdown Part 2, being presented by 1888 Bully Kennel. There are going to be four ICBR shows, so please come out. Again, if you wish to sponsor, if you want a donor, if you want to be a benefactor, if you want to be a participant, kennels, breeders, get in touch with DeWan Hall. You can contact him at 205-460-6435, 205-460-6435. Get in touch with him, ask the questions that you have to answer. So please come out. Please come out and support the following events. Also, for those who are looking for unique gifts to give, practical gifts. How many times have you gone to a restaurant and you had to send back the utensils because they were dirty? Well, I have a place for you. Forked again. You call them or contact them. If you use the code OZZz, OZZZ15, you get 15% discount. Check them out. Wonderful selection, wonderful styles, fonts, and all. So please, engraving, laser engraving. So please support Forked Again. You'll be surprised. Check them out. A practical gift for birthdays, Mother's Days, bridal showers. Baby showers, divorce parties. Any type of occasion or events, know that you can support, you can rely on Forked Again. So please tell them that I sent you. So there's a lot going on as usual. And now we're getting to where the politicians are coming out and making all these outrageous statements. We forget that then what they're trying to do is to always say it's Hamas, it's Hamas, it's Hamas. It's not all about Hamas. It's about the children, the civilians that are being killed, murdered, raped, and all. So Hillary Clinton came out, and she was on one of the politics shows, and she said that because of TikTok and because of propaganda, that false information are given out, and that we, the normal people, don't understand exactly the history of what's going on. And I find that somewhat complexing, because really you're making a simplistic argument. You're trying to make it difficult. And it is nothing difficult to understand. It's nothing difficult to understand. So I'm going to try to do it as simplistically as I can, because there isn't any difficulty in understanding exactly what has been going on for 75 years over in Palestine. After World War II, the European Jews, which are also known as a Zionist, and see, I think that's where everyone is getting confused, because you have all these terms and all these, people being described. So I'm going to try to break it down to you as easy as possible. The European Jews came from Poland and Germany. They were converted. They're not really pure Jews in the sense they do not have the DNA of the Jew. They have either Polish or German DNA. So the Zionist, which is a political party, a political ideology, they were kicked out of Germany and Poland. And I think in 1946, Germany blamed these European Jews for their difficulties, for the problems and the issues that they were having. So Germany and Poland kicked the European Jews out, which are also known as Zionists. So once these European Jews were kicked out of their mother country, the land of their origin, Poland and Germany, which brings back a point. So these Zionists have no connection to Palestine, which is now called Israel. So, but I reluctantly use the term Israel because to me it's not Israel. So once again, in 1946, Germany and Poland kicked the European Jews out of their country, of their mother country, where they were born, where they were raised, where they have generations of families in Poland and in Germany. So these European Jews were put on a boat, were put on a ship. Now, before they came to Palestine, the group went to the Caribbeans, went to the United States. Those governments would not allow that group to come into their country. They were not permitted to come in. So the ship winded, eventually arrived at Palestine. And the Palestinians welcomed these refugees in. And there was a ship that had a sign, I think it said that we have lost our homes, we have lost our hope. Please give us our hope back. So the Palestinians, being the people that they are, welcomed these refugees in. They even welcomed these refugees into their own homes. Now keep in mind, Palestinians were what's the word? The Palestinians were different religions. They had different faiths, and they lived side by side homogeneously. They lived side by side peacefully. You had the Christians, you had the Jews, you had the Muslims. You have all these individuals, all these groups living together as one country, as one state, as one neighborhood, or whatever. So you have these refugees coming in. They were welcomed by the Palestinians. Palestinians took them into their homes, two families, I think it was two families per home. Well, once these refugees settled in Palestine, then they became, then the true them became relevant, became evident. The European Jews, the Zionists, started taking over Palestine. Now, the Zionists would not have had the power if they had not had the support of the Western governments. You had United States backing the Zionists. You had England backing these Zionists. So there shouldn't be any problem with understanding the history of what is happening for what has been happening for 75 years over in Palestine. European Jews were kicked out of their homelands, Germany and Poland. They were sent on boats or ships. They went to other countries. The other countries refused to allow them to come in, so they went to Palestine. Palestinians welcomed the refugees into their homes, into their land. Then these refugees became what would be modern day squatters. They wouldn't leave, so they started taking over. And then, because of the support of the Western governments helped the Zionists to infiltrate, to invade, to conquer the Palestinians. And because of the backing of the Western governments, and because these Western governments have control over the UN, all of a sudden they wanted a Jewish state. Now, if these Zionists were true Jews, they would know that in the Torah, the Jews are not supposed to have a homeland, are not supposed to have a state, a government. They're not supposed to have, if the Zionists were going by the true word. So for Hillary Clinton to have the audacity to say that the normal folks don't understand the history, the history is just point blank. The Western nations back the Zionists, allow the Zionists to invade, to conquer the Palestinians, to force these Palestinians into concentration camps. And it was a concentration camp because the Zionists put a wall around and would have the say of what would come in and what would go out. They had the power to destroy and bomb, rape, murder, torture, brutalize. Basically, people don't want to compare the Zionists with Hitler, but that's exactly what they are. They're modern day Hitlers, because what the Zionist Netanyahu Bibi, what his government is allowed to do is to torture these Palestinians, just like the Germans did the true Jews. So now you have AIPAC, which is it's supposed to be a political action. Was it political action committee? So they are bombarding the congressman, bombarding Congress with bribes. They're giving the Democrats as well as Republicans bribes, of bribing the Republican, of bribing the government. So we have been infiltrated. We have been invaded by a foreign country, by a foreign organization. And if you were to be diligent and zealous enough to research, you will find out that the majority of the media, the music industry, the newspapers are run by the Zionists. That's where the power comes in. That's why the Western media has not promoted what is transpiring over in Palestine. There's confusion because now they were saying that you had two oil companies that are stating now that any students that participated in the sit-ins in favor of the Palestinians, they were not going to be hired. Well, of course, if you look to see exactly what the CEOs are, you find out they're Zionists. The Zionist has total control of everything that we do, everything that we see. So it's really frightening that this is transpiring. But the one thing that those who are in power have not taken into consideration, when the sit-ins started with the Vietnam War, they were successful. When South Africa apartheid had the sit-ins, they were successful. These students are more diligent, educated, defiant than any other group. They understand, they see the connection. Now, you have to keep it in proper perspective in that what is transpiring over in Palestine, which is also known as Israel, can unfortunately happen here. And there are a lot of people saying, no, you can't see that. Oh, but you can. No one thought that Trump would be elected, and he was. And he tried to destroy the United States. So now we have this threat of the Zionists taking over our government, having a say on what is being done. Then you have Trump still having the say on what is being done. Then you have AIPAC that has a huge influence on our government, a huge influence in that they also are writing policies that are being passed. So we should not hide our heads to think that what is transpiring over in Palestine won't happen here. It may not happen to the same degree, but it can happen here. As I have stated numerous times, it's not surprising because when you compare the United States to the rest of the world, the United States is still a young nation, a young country. And we shouldn't be surprised that our government is supporting the Zionists, because look at what has transpired with the Indians here. So anything that has started out as corruption was started by our government. Our government is not without sin. Our government has blood on their hands. Gaddafi was murdered because we were lied to. So it's time for us to pay attention to what is transpiring, because we could find ourselves in a similar situation, especially if the Zionists are allowed to gain more control, which I can't understand how they have. They can't. I mean, you have the consensus of the Congress. So those individuals, including Terry Sewell, who is a representative. We know the Republicans are corrupted, but now we know that both parties are corrupt, but we're seeing the twinship between the two parties. So Terry Sewell is if she has taken money from AIPAC, she's a traitor. Every Democrat that has accepted money from AIPAC is a traitor, and they should be brought up on treason charges because it has nothing. And then plus two, if you want to put Hamas in the equation, well, you need to understand exactly where Hamas started. Hamas was started by Benjamin Netanyahu. He started it. He's mentioned it. There's documentation showing where he was the one that created Hamas. Hamas is just a smokescreen. And even if Hamas was what people claim that they are, it still does not give them any type of leverage, does not give them an okay for Israel to do what Israel has done for 75 years to the Palestinians. That does not correct anything. It has nothing to do with Hamas. It has to do with humanity. It has to do with humanity. So, for all these individuals to come out in support of Israel, they're traitors. They're traitors. So, and then for our government to say that it's going to be a crime for us to speak out against Israel, that's not going to hold. And then for the government to even say that those protesters that were arrested, they're going to be sent over to Israel. Are you are you serious? Are you really serious? We are going through a change. The United States is in its teenage year to where there are questions being asked, answers being demanded. There has to be a systemic change in the way that we do things when it comes to politics, when it comes to the judiciary system, when it comes to education, when it comes to the marketing, when everything that we have done in the past has to change systemically. Systemically. And for those of you who don't know what systemically means, what does the word systemic mean?
Systemic means relating to a system, especially a...
What does systemic mean?
Systemic.
Let me read it. I don't know what's wrong with him. Relating to a system, especially as opposed to a political part.
Okay, I found this on the web.
I know you did.
I don't know what's wrong with him relating to system asbestos as opposed.
Okay, yeah. But it has to do with the entire system. The entire system. The entire system. So instead of going to the Bible, and instead of learning that, because of Noah giving his sons, dividing the land between the three sons and getting bogged down and all that, we don't need to go through all of that. And that is really not necessary to understand exactly the issues that are transpiring, that is happening, that is occurring over in Palestine, happening over in Gaza. European Jews were kicked out by Germany and Poland. They were on a ship. They tried to enter. They went to other nations, Caribbean, the Western nations. Those nations refused them. They wound up at Palestine. Palestinians welcomed them in, and then once those Zionists, once those European Jews were allowed to come in and to set up homes, they became squatters. They took over everything with the backing of the Western governments. And this has been going on for 75 years. We've been lied about. We have been lied about that it was the Palestinians that was always a problem. It was not the Palestinians that was always the problems. It was the Zionist country with the backing of the Western nations that were the problems. Yasser Arafat was viewed as a terrorist. It's not true. It's not true. So everything that we've been told has been lies. For 75 years, this has been going on. For 7 months, the world has turned their backs on the Palestinians. 7 months. And then you have the idiot's brother's son-in-law telling exactly that land that is on the beach could be prime property. It's horrendous. It's atrocious. It's unacceptable. So, from the river to the sea, I support Palestine. I support Palestinians. Can't do anything else. I cannot turn my back and not support a group that is being genocide. Billions of dollars that has been sent to Israel should stop. Should stop. And then for that little Miss thing from Carolina, Lindsey Graham having the audacity to compare what is transpiring over in Gaza to what transpired with the atomic bombing, apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. There, we are in the 21st century to where things don't have to follow suit as what they did. We have technology. We have technology. You don't have to use the atomic bomb. You don't even have to use bombs anymore. So it is what it is. So that's it in a nutshell. There's not. It's simplistic. The Zionists, the European Jews were kicked out of the mother countries, Poland and Germany. They were put on boats, ships. Ships went to other nations. Other nations didn't want them. They winded up over at Palestine. Palestinians welcomed them in, took them into their homes. Then these Zionists, these European Jews, took over Palestine with the backing of the Western nations. So what's the problem? For 75 years, it's been going on. For 7 months, the world has turned their back on what is transpiring, what is happening over in Gaza. What's the difficulty? So I appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. Appreciate you a lot. Know your value. Know your worth. Know that you control everything about you. And most importantly, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. I will see you Tuesday, tomorrow. Peace.